Hello, comic dudes. I just bought a submarine from the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid. Don't worry, cause I'm not planning on keeping it forever. I'm gonna return it after I give it a good old test drive and get all my money back. But the main problem that arises is that if I even damage this thing in the slightest, I'm gonna lose my deposit. I can't afford to do that. So, in order to learn how to perfectly operate a submarine, I got just the game to do it. Iron Lung.
Iron Lung is an indie horror game created by David Szymanski back in March of 2022. This game's Steam page tells us a lot about the game before you even fire it up. It costs $5.99, which is honestly a very fair price for the experience. Don't act like you don't have $5.99 laying around somewhere. The game has glowing reviews, and most importantly, we have some epic screenshots of gameplay.
I don't know what the heck that is.
According to the required specs for this game, all it tells you is that you can run this, which I'd hope so because my computer is powered by 3 potatoes and a lemon. Now this game is a spooky game. Scary, even. And because this is the season of the spooks and the scares, I figured this game would be a perfect topic to cover. So I'm going to create a new themed month for the show. October Spooky Month. It's Swedish. For any Steam games I cover during October, I most likely won't be using the SGCFM score because it just doesn't really flow well when it comes to horror games such as this. So I'm deeply sorry, SGCFM fans. Regardless, today I'll be diving waist deep into the crimson-stained world of Iron Lung. Double tapping on that luxurious desktop icon, you're brought to the title screen of Iron Lung. And they weren't lying. My computer is running this. Now before we click the start game button, we're going to click every other button because I enjoy stalling. We have continue, which drops you off at your last checkpoint, which is basically just another start button. However, more epically, we have settings, which hosts all the greats such as resolution, windowed mode, audio. Yeah. In general, the title screen is perfect for this game. It's a very barren moonscape with stars in the background, and the only thing apparent on the moon is a large ocean of blood, which is extremely eerie and adds a lot of mystery to the vibe. Finally clicking start game as the suspense has been killing me. Your game begins! Just like my other favorite sci-fi horror, Star Wars, this game begins with a very short text to read which gives subtle world building into the world of Iron Lung.
Decades ago, every known star and habitable planet vanished, leaving only those who were on space stations or starships. This event became known as the Quiet Rapture. With supplies dwindling and infrastructure crumbling, survivors are searching for any trace of natural resources in a universe of barren moons lit by the ghost lights of vanished stars. One such moon holds a strange anomaly, an ocean of blood. You are a convict tasked with exploring this anomaly in a makeshift submarine nicknamed the Iron Lung. It was not designed for this depth, so you will be welded inside and the forward window will be closed. There was no time for training. If successful, you earn your freedom.
From what we can glean from the text, the entire world of Iron Lung is a post-apocalyptic scenario where everything in the universe vanished except for the starships and blood-filled moons such as the one you're about to be going into. You play as a convict who is sent into the blood ocean via the Iron Lung, and if you do your job successfully, you will be absolved of all wrongdoing. But I'm probably reading way too much into all of this, and I hate reading, so let's just get started. The game starts and you're already underwater. Well, I suppose it isn't water, but regardless, you're already descending pretty far down according to your depth meter. Over an intercom, you're told that
beginning your descent. Cruising depth in roughly 40 seconds. Stand by. I'm seeing some voltage irregularities in the instruments, so keep an eye out for sparks or flames or anything like that. Approaching maximum depth. The hull's feeling it, but it's still holding strong. Closing porthole shielding. We're starting to lose radio signal. You'll be at cruise depth soon, so repeat and be careful. You're on your own. Good.
these lines are the only bit of dialogue you'll be getting for the entirety of Iron Lung, and once the front window seals itself so it doesn't explode due to the high sea pressure surrounding the sub, you're left alone in your sub.
Well, no better time than the present to get into this bad boy. Don't worry about anything happening to me, because I added a precautionary measure to keep me from becoming one with the fishies. Alright, it's time to finally buy myself a submarine. Let's do it. What the heck are you doing in my house?
You told me I could crash here. We're like brothers, you said.
Alright, I don't remember saying that, but either way, I could use your help with something. I'm going out on a very, very dangerous expedition. Not sure if I'll come back alive. So, I need you, whenever this phone rings, to pick up. I will most likely be in dire need of assistance. Could you please do that?
Sure.
You paying attention?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Just if that phone rings, alright?
Yep, got it.
Sweet. See you around, Michael. Well, in I go. Nice place. It's got walls. And a window.
So I guess now is a better time than ever to actually talk about the sub. Welcome to the Iron Lung. This is my segue into talking about everything that is contained within this bucket of bolts. This front area is what you'll be seeing for about 70% of the game. It has a nice 30-watt bulb that hangs above, which is really the only reason this game is playable, as if that bulb wasn't there, Iron Lung could have never existed. Also, you have the O2 meter and depth meter. Both of these are equally relevant. As the O2 meter's changes are all scripted and you don't actually have to worry about running out of time, well, except if a fire eats up your oxygen. The depth meter will remain at rock bottom for the entire game, so you can just ignore that. The front window is permanently sealed, so that's another thing you don't have to pay attention to. What you're actually going to be caring about is this here control panel. You can go forwards and backwards, and use the left and right buttons to change your direction. However, since only one button can be pressed at once, your guiding of the sub needs to be very precise.
Oh boy, this submarine is really, really cool. I got rainbow goldfish, and oh, don't you tease me with that rainbow goldfish.
Also available to you are your current coordinates plus the angle in which your sub is facing, which is based on your turns. These change as you move across the map. What map? This map! By pressing tab, you're shown this here map that shows the things you need to go to. More on that later. Now you may be wondering, where's the player icon? And that's where you're ignorant. There is no player icon. You're actually supposed to use this map, as you would in the real world. You're supposed to estimate your location on the map based off your sub's current coordinates. AKA, have fun using your finger to guesstimate where you are in the sea, only to be wrong by about 7 meters and running into a cavern's wall. Thankfully, the game gives you a little bit of a safety net in the form of this radar. Every time you get close to a hazard, there will be a little blip in the direction it is relative to your sub, which is by far the best feature in the game, as without it, I wouldn't have made it to the first important locale. Moving on from the front area of the sub, we have this connecting hallway between the two segments of the ship, equipped with pipes and more pipes. Along this hallway is the only holdable item in the game, the fire extinguisher. During the game, a fire is started, and you need to extinguish it before the fire sucks up all your oxygen. And honestly, props to Iron Lung for being the first game in history to have a random fire extinguisher not be so random. Continuing to the final leg of your journey, we have the back area of the ship. This area isn't as cool as the front of the ship because of the noticeable lack of much light, but here you can click this here button and have your sub take a picture of the outside world, which will be then displayed on this monitor. I originally thought this game only gave certain photos that can only be taken certain places, but no, you can actually take a picture of anything and everything, and they will be taken and rendered in real time, which is honestly pretty cool of the game to take the harder route when it comes to game design. In this back area, you also have this lame terminal, but it's just ChatGPT if it had no friends and had bias, so let's just ignore it.
You know, I don't actually know if I want to be in the sub anymore. I think it's time to rise. Shoot.
Now it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. I actually click on B and get the mission briefing.
2 weeks ago, we conducted an exploration of Moon AT-5 for the first time since the Quiet Rapture, leading to the discovery of the Fourth Blood Ocean. A trench beneath the ocean's surface has several points of interest. Your task is to photograph these points of interest with the SM-13's forward camera. Photos must be taken within 2 units of the specified position and 10 degrees of the specified angle. You can also use the camera to help with navigation. Only photos taken in the specified points of interest will be saved. Since you can't navigate by sight, pay attention to your coordinates and consult the map. The proximity indicators next to the controls will trigger if you're getting close to an obstacle. Good luck.
So, if we look at our map again, all these little squares are places we need to travel to and take pictures of so that we can complete the mission. One last thing before we begin. There's this little note on the floor of the sub that reads,
This is not an expedition, it's an execution. When they put you in here, they don't want you to return. And even if you do, and even if they keep their promises, what freedom waits for you? A few dying ships in a sea of dead stars? If there is still hope, it lies beyond the veil. Hope in this void isn't as illusionary as the starlight. I will choose to breathe my last here, at the bottom of the ocean, unseen, unheard, and uncontrolled. They will get their execution. I will get my freedom.
This is actually pretty sad, showing that the convict of the sub is completely accepting the inevitable fate of this trip and is taking it like a man. Mad respect. Alright, it's time to kick this thing in full gear. When playing Iron Lung, you are on edge at all times. If the general disrepair of the ship and the noises from the outside weren't enough to worry you, there's also the fear of running into a singular wall which will instantly give you a game over. All on top of the looming threat of a jump scare, which left me waiting for the entire playthrough. A lot of the time, the build-up for a scare is way scarier than the scare itself, and that fact is exemplified here. All of this talk without actually talking about your job, so let's do that. Here's a quick rundown of all the places that your sub needs to go to and take pictures of.
Mike! Mike!
First photo, we got lump stuff, literally the coolest point of interest on the map. Second photo, we got more pointy lumps, not as cool as my opinion on the first. Third photo, we got squiggly lines. Fourth photo, we got more lumpy bits with a little friend in the background. Fifth photo, we have what appears to be a dead dinosaur. Sixth photo, buildings which are really cool. Seventh photo, this kinda looks like one of those stress toys with the pokey bits. Once you take your seventh photo, the game tells you to screw off, just like Super Mario World. What you're supposed to do is just drive straight through this jumbled mess and just cross your fingers, but I think crushing into the wall is way more fun. Eighth photo, we got this little star thingy, which looks funny. It also isn't marked on the map, so you need to go off the beaten path to get it. Ninth photo, when you take this photo, that thing that's been following you around finally says hi, but it doesn't kill you yet. 10th photo, you can't actually take a photo here unless if you make it your first. Regardless, when you get to this area and go to take your picture, instead of letting this happen, you can kill yourself by driving the sub into the wall by the photo spot. It's about honor, Batman. I won't be showing what's here because not telling you would be more funny. And that's Iron Lung.
Alright, no better time than now.
As abrupt as this ending may be, the build-up leading to this single moment makes the jump scare justified. I think this single moment is one of the most effective scares I've ever seen in an indie horror game in a very long time. The game was very successful and would have ended here, however the developer did update the game later and just added this lame computer thing in the back of the ship. Just kidding, this thing is pretty cool and it is a very creative way to have world building, but I'm not competent enough to ask it the right questions, so I'll just end my talk here. Yo, I forgot that there was a note like thingy once you beat the game. I completely forgot about that until post. Okay, let me read that now.
The expedition ultimately raised more questions than answers. Satellite images showed pieces of the SM-13 scattered all over the trench, as though it had been torn apart by some huge beast. The wreckage cannot be reached at this time. No photographs have been recovered. The stars shine, pale as bones. The moon is a lifeless corpse, its ocean a gaping wound. The universe, what's left of it, is dying, but somewhere in the void, there must be hope.
Iron Lung is honestly a really compelling and engaging horror game. Definitely one of the better ones I've played. Anyways, comic dudes, that's wraps for me. I gotta go kill my friend. You had one job.